Hello, cinephiles, and welcome to Silver Screen Sips, a podcast where three idiots talk about movies, and today we celebrate Isaiah getting a promotion at his job. Woo!
Yeah.
Anyway, as a reminder to all our listeners, there are spoilers ahead for movies and TV shows that you may have not seen yet, so just know that you've been warned. Please remember that today we are covering Halloween 2018.
Yes. Good job, Lewis. We mentioned the film in the beginning. Yes. You get a gold star.
Thank you so much.
There's going to be a lot of talk about some gruesome deaths in this film. So just a trigger warning for anyone who's squirmish about blood or any kind of gore or violence. Okay, back to the show. Before we begin, just want to mention that this episode is brought to you by Shaker and Spoon, which is our sponsor for the podcast. Shaker and Spoon is a monthly subscription service that will teach you to mix up bar quality cocktails from recipes designed by award-winning mixologists, all while exposing you to new flavors and combinations and demonstrating a range of what each spirit can do. We just got the Mescaloween 2 Agave's Revenge box, and I've been reviewing them one by one, so we will be talking about one of those drinks later in today's episode, and I'm very excited for that. If you would like your own box of Shaker and Spoon, you can head over to shakerandspoon.com and use our promo code SIPS10 to get $10 off your first subscription. Again, that's promo code SIPS10, SIPS 10 to get $10 off.
Nice job, Beth.
Thank you. I was sweating.
Now to jump to everyone's favorite segment.
Do you hear that in the background? It sounds like faint nudes soundtrack. Is that what I hear?
This week in Hollywood.
Serious music time. It's official. 20th Century Studios has begun production in Sydney, Australia for the new Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, which is a franchise we do hope to cover in the near future. The film has been pitched as a new chapter in the Planet of the Apes saga, picking up years later after War of the Planet of the Apes, and we will keep you posted with further details once we know more.
Hi, it's me. My turn. In the past some weeks, Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd, the duo best known for the Back to the Future franchise, reunited at New York Comic Con for more than 37 years after the original film's release, leaving fans running for their tissues. The actors themselves shared an emotional moment too, and for many fans, seeing them together again at the panel felt like no time had passed between the trilogy and now, with the actors clearly enjoying their company and the love that they received from the audience. How wholesome.
Very wholesome.
I watched the video. It was very cute.
The Super Mario Bros. Movie has officially released a trailer, causing controversy amongst fans, mainly over the actor chosen for the iconic role of Mario, which is Chris Pratt. While Pratt doesn't stick with the plumber's Italian accent, you can't deny that the animation artwork style seen in the trailer is astounding. The film is set to release in theaters April 7th of 2023.
Stranger Things star David Harbour plays Santa Claus in a new upcoming quote-unquote Christmas movie titled Violent Night. Harbour's Santa has to save a wealthy family who are taken hostage by a group of mercenaries. This film will be unlike any other Christmas movie you've seen before, unless you've seen one where Santa Claus punches people and explodes bombs to save the day. The film is set to premiere December 2nd of this year, and I saw the trailer, and I'm fucking hyped for it.
I also saw the trailer, and I'm fucking hyped.
It looks so bad that it's going to be good.
It knows what it is.
It knows exactly what it is.
Now here's Isaiah with sports.
Hi, here in Sports Center. A new VHS horror movie has been announced, and it's taking fans back in time to the era. The film will be directed by David Bruckner and Scott Derrickson, and more. VHS 85 is on the way with a 2023 release date, which announced at this year's New York Comic Con. This will be the 6th installment of the franchise, and given the film's title, it looks like fans will go back even further in time. Back to Lou.
Finally, we're going to be bringing up our my God, I can't speak today.
It's okay. Not all of us can.
That's just because you ruined that pessimistic.
Pessimistic.
Why do you keep saying Pez?
I like candy.
And lastly, Lindsay Lohan is back and starring in her first ever Christmas movie titled Falling for Christmas.
It sounds like a Hallmark movie.
Yeah. This is part of the actress's multi-film contract with Netflix. Lohan is making a comeback after withdrawing from her acting career for some time while she dealt with personal issues. The movie will be streaming on Netflix starting November 10th.
One more thing. This is very recent news that actually I received today, which is October 11th that we're recording right now. So obviously, by the time this episode actually comes out, some of you might have already heard this news. But Angela Lansbury, which is the actress who is well known for her voicing of the character Mrs. Potts from Beauty and the Beast, has passed away today. So,
Leonardo.
Wow, you made the dog bark. The dog understands. Yes, this was sad news. So I just wanted to share that. Rest in peace, Mrs. Potts. Anyways, let's talk about alcohol.
Now let's get drunk to cope, huh?
Yeah, let's pour one out for her.
Oh my God. So.
Oh my
today...
God! Do you think that all the cups and stuff can get drunk?
What?
Like
they
have.
Did
mouths,
you smoke
right?
weed before this episode?
Think about it, right? Mrs. Potts, right? She has a mouth. Can she get drunk?
She doesn't have blood, Isaiah.
That's true.
God damn it.
I wanted to know what the bounds of magic were for this, all right?
I think if we're talking in that realm, it's a Disney movie, so anything is possible.
So the answer would be yes, because Dumbo got high, so.
Anyway,
Lou, tell us what you got, drinks,
please.
So today's installment of Big Lou's Big Brews is a little interesting because Beth will be giving a little bit more detail on what this drink entails from her personal experience. We're actually going to be reviewing one of our sponsors' drinks, the Curse of the Black Bramble. So, off to the dusty stack of cocktail history books went the courageous Tara Maiko, sifting through shady lore and odd origin stories with the beam of her flashlight. When the beam of her flashlight happened upon the tale of a very heavy hit from 1980s London. It was a dark and presumably foggy night when bartending legend Dick Bradsell conjured the childhood memory of foraging for fruit on the Isle of Wight for his latest invention, the Bramble. Luckily, as you'll taste, Care exhumed no bad spirits in adapting his classic in the form of a tall and bubbly cooler. Quite the opposite, as Mescal proved to be the perfect host to herbaceous aromas, crisp elderflower tonic, and the wickedly wild fusion of bold blackberries and red wine vinegar. And a quick lesson for our listeners, if I didn't already go over this in the last episode, which I'm pretty sure I did. Mezcal is also made from the same plant as tequila, except it doesn't get mixed with sugar, and it's coming from from a broader range of plants.
Yes, I found this out actually when we bought the mezcal.
Yes. And then tequila will be made from like the heart of the agave, I believe, or like the leaves or something like that. And it's from a select few plants that they can be distilled. Versus mezcal has a much broader range and can be made in different areas. It also tends to be stronger if you get it in Mexico. For whatever reason, they have to reduce the strength when they bottle it to sell in America.
We can't handle it.
Yeah, we're not fun.
And the ingredients we have for our Curse of the Black Bramble is the 1.5 ounce of Mezcal Joven, 1 ounce of blackberry red wine shrub, 1 ounce of elderflower tonic water, and a spritz of rosemary thyme hydrosol. You're going to add your mezcal and your shrub to a shaker with ice and shake vigorously until it shows frost on the outside. Strain the shaker's contents into a Collins glass over fresh cubed ice, then top with tonic water, stirring softly to combine. For the aromatic finishing touch, spray the rosemary thyme hydrosol over the top of this drink, or if you'd like and have one on hand, place a fresh rosemary sprig on top of the drink. Now, to get some feedback on what it actually tasted like, here's Beth.
Hello. Yeah, so Shaker and Spoon, they were nice enough to send us the box that had this recipe in it, and so I made it. And I'm personally not a huge tequila fan, and I was told once I bought the mezcal that it's a little bit different than, the tequila I'm so familiar with. So I went into it with the expectations of like a traditional tequila flavor, but I was surely mistaken.
Pleasantly surprised.
Pleasantly surprised, yes. I, first off, just want to say the idea of okay, I want to just give you guys a little share of my experience with this box because it's really fucking cool. So you open the box, right? You get your 3 different recipes, and they're all around the same alcohol. So this week, next week, and the following week will be about tequila, the mezcal. So it makes it easy because it's not like you have to go and buy separate liquors each week. You just buy the one bottle and you're good to go for the next 3 drinks. So anyways, I felt so fucking fancy up in this bitch. I was spraying rosemary hydrosol on top. I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. I felt like a little bartender at like a fancy little like restaurant and stuff. It was super easy too, because they give you literally everything you need. Like I had the little rosemary spray bottle, and then I had the red wine shrub and everything. So it was really easy. I would rate it personally a 3 out of 5. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of tequila, just from, that's my one drink. That's my, from past experiences. Tequila and I don't get along very well. However, it had some really good like hints of berry, and like the rosemary was really nice because like you'd go to bring the glass up to your face and you'd get like a whiff of it before you'd sip it. So that was good.
Nice.
It was a nice sipping drink for sure. So I rated it a 3 out of 5.
Interesting.
I'm excited for the next one because it sounds a lot more up my alley because it's orange and chocolate.
As the fellow veteran alcoholic of the group, Tequila and I also do not get along, although I have great respect for her. You can't treat tequila the same way you would whiskey, and that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Yeah, she's a whiskey gal.
we should all be whiskey gals. Anyway, moving on. So based on the appearance and the descriptions we have, I can see it being a very sweet, berry forward drink. I like the touch with the rosemary. That does sound very nice.
Mm-hmm.
It goes to show the thought that's put into mixology, not just on like what you're going to taste, but also visually experience
and smelling too.
And smelling it on top of that, because sometimes you'll be like smelling a drink that'll be just straight up gasoline.
Mm-hmm.
That's my experience with absinthe. It literally just smelled like straight fucking ethanol.
Hey, absinthe makes the heart grow stronger, right?
Anyway, I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5.
Nice. I'll have to make it for you guys when you come up here because I have enough to make more. Oh, that's another nice thing. You can make like 3 or 4 of each of these recipes. Like they give you enough to make multiple of them. So I just made the one.
Have like a little party.
Exactly. I just made like, you can do like a little tasting party with your friends kind of a thing. But I have enough to make like 3 or 4 more if I wanted. Or I could use it and make other concoctions if I really wanted to and like experiment. That's like the fun part too. It's like now I have these ingredients.
We can get a little wild, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Anyway, Isaiah, what's your rating?
Right. Back to the
podcast.
I'm going to be honest with you. I have never heard of half of these things. I don't know what the hell a mezcal joven is.
Mezcal joven?
Mezcal?
Oh
Mezcal Joven, young mezcal.
Have you not been listening to anything we just said?
Mezcal Joven. Just to correct the issue here, Mezcal Joven is the liquor in question. It is an offshoot of tequila. It is made from the same agave plant. It is just made from...
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm not, much like everybody else here, we're not tequila drinkers. I'm not much of a tequila drinker either. However, as Beth explained, that's a kind of a sipping drink. I like sipping drinks. I like, the fancy sippy drinks. So I think I'd probably like this one. So I'm gonna give it like a 3.5 out of 5. I think I'd probably enjoy this one.
Okay, good. And from like the bartender's perspective, I would actually love serving these because I feel like they're pretty easy and quick to make.
Oh yeah, it was super easy.
So
It's really fun. I honestly really enjoyed making them just because they're so cute, the little bottles and everything that come with it. I gotta show you guys the little bottles. All right, so we have a pretty good rating so far on our first drink. We still have two more to go for this box. So all right, well, thank you again, Shaker and Spoon. If you guys want to try these yourself, you can go to shakerandspoon.com and again use our promo code SIPS10. There's also other boxes on there that I am thinking about trying out myself. If you are interested, please go check their website out. Really cool. They also have an Instagram. Just go check them out. I swear to God, I'm telling everyone about this thing because it's really fucking cool. Now I have a fun activity for us today for my segment. Yeah, so we're gonna do fantasy lead style. So we're gonna pick our teams, but it's gonna be slasher edition. So it's going to be like iconic slasher killers. So I wrote a list of who's up for grabs. Okay.
Sure.
And we'll just pick off of that. We're all going to get 3 slashers each.
Do you have like a stats page on these guys?
Like who do we like? Okay. So the end goal is our team would kill the others. Like they'd come out on top. So who should we like roll to see who goes first? Here.
In a wheel.
I got this.
Oh boy.
Lewis, pick heads or tails.
Heads.
Okay, so heads, Lewis stays in. Tails, Lewis is out. Hey Siri, heads or tails?
It's tails.
Ooh.
Rip.
Okay, so now
Rip.
Isaiah, heads or tails?
Tails.
Tails. Okay, so if it's tails, Isaiah's in and he gets to go first, right?
I don't know. You're the one making these
Sure.
rules up.
I don't fucking know. Hey Siri, heads or tails?
Heads.
Oh,
Why'd she say it like that? Heads.
I don't know. Okay, so I get first pick then?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to pick for my first fantasy league player. I will go with
Fantasy League Slayer.
good one. I'm going to go with Michael Myers, not only to keep in theme, but also because he's almost practically invincible. So
That is true. That is true.
that's my number 1.
Which I will get into later on. But next up,
Would be Isaiah.
yes.
Hi. So I'm gonna go with Freddy Krueger.
Freddy Krueger. All right.
I'm thinking about who can kill each other.
True. All right. Lewis, who's your first pick out of all the killers out there?
Well, it was gonna be Freddy.
Yoink.
I guess I'll choose the Candyman.
Candyman. Michael
Candyman.
Myers versus Freddy Krueger versus Candyman. Okay. All right.
Yep.
So I'm liking my odds here. Okay, so second choice. I'm gonna go with Jigsaw.
Okay.
I think. I feel like he would just have he wouldn't so much be he'd be more of like the brains of the operation. Yeah. He'd be like, listen,
Yeah.
Myers, you get them and I will fuck them up, you know? So I'm gonna take Jigsaw.
It's a tag team.
Mm-hmm.
The 3-man team is like Marvel's Capcom or whatever. Isaiah?
I'm gonna go with Jason.
Jason. That's a good one. Any particular reason?
Because Freddy Krueger and Jason already fought, so I'd like to see them on a team together.
It's like Batman and Superman.
Yeah, it's also. I'm also thinking of like a buddy cop film, like Tango and Cash, where it's just the two of them arguing the whole time, but like it's funny.
Oh my god!
Like it's a buddy cop film, but they have a sidekick, which is going to be my third person. But like the whole point is that it's just banter between the two of them because they've already tried to kill each other.
Your sidekick, a perfect sidekick, would be Ghostface. I can already see it. He would just be like, "What's up?"
What's up? I hate this.
Okay, Lewis, what's your second choice?
Pinhead.
Pinhead. Okay, spooky. Why do you pick Pinhead?
Because.
Good reason. Okay. My third and final pick is going to be Leatherface because he is fucking terrifying. That's it.
That's it. That's all you got.
I got Michael Myers, I got Jigsaw, and Leatherface. I feel pretty confident.
Interesting. I'm gonna go with Ghostface mostly because I don't trust Chucky.
That is a good point. That is a really good point.
I feel like Chucky would try to he'd be like, "Cool, we just killed everybody else. Now the two of you are gonna die now."
Yeah.
I can be the only slasher in this football field.
Well,
Well, then that leaves Chucky to you, Lewis.
fuck me,
Good luck.
I guess.
Have
I
fun with
hate fucking dolls.
All right, so what are our final teams then? I got Michael Myers, Leatherface, and Jigsaw.
Isaiah has Freddy Krueger, Jason, and Ghostface. So 2 supernatural beings and 1 random dude who apparently was like actually 2 people the whole time.
Oh my god, this has got to be like a good slasher video game of just like they all got their own special powers.
Oh my god, it's like Mortal Kombat. Imagine Mortal Kombat.
Jason Voorhees is already
All
in
slasher killers.
No, Mortal Kombat actually does feature Jason, Leatherface.
What?
Oh yeah, they do.
When?
It was part of the season pass.
Mortal Kombat had Jason, Leatherface, the Terminator, the Xenomorph, the Predator.
My god.
I don't know if they had Freddy or not.
Shit, would you look at that? That's
Are they
fucking
on-
awesome. How did I not know this? Anyways,
And then Isaiah had the 3 randoms, and then I had the Candyman
Candyman can.
that most people don't even know about, Ducky, which is probably one of the most famous ones,
Mhm.
and then Pinhead, one that people also don't know about. I feel like I'm the underdog here, and I feel like I'm going to come out on top.
somehow. I think we should put a poll on Instagram. Yeah, why don't you guys cast your votes? It'll probably already be up since this is coming out the same day. Tell us who you think would win out of these 3 teams in a fight to the death. Is it going to be my team with Michael Myers and Leatherface and Jigsaw? Or is it going to be Lewis's team with Chucky, Pinhead, and Candyman? Or Isaiah's team with Freddy Krueger, Ghostface, and Jason, right? I got those teams right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Make sure.
All right, and now here we go. Fun facts with Isaiah.
Fun. So, I'm gonna be honest, I don't have a lot of facts. There was not a lot about this movie.
Yeah,
Well, because I feel like the more present the movie is, the less facts there are.
probably.
No, because like The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings are pretty recent. They got tons of things to talk about them.
Yeah, but that's a whole nother realm. That's like practical. They
Yeah,
do a lot.
They have a lot of backstory. Yeah.
I mean, so like this, like a lot of the things about this movie were just them like making callbacks or talking about how the original affected them and why they made it the way they did for this one. So a lot of the things I was going to end up talking about were just going to be like the first movie again.
Mhm.
So I didn't want to do that. So I kind of went for things that are specifically focused on this movie.
Okay.
Hit us with it.
Okay. So the film producer is Malik Akkad, who I hope I'm pronouncing that right, who is the son of Mustafa Akkad, the producer of the original Halloween. Mustafa Akkad was murdered along with his
Jesus.
sister. No, I'm sorry. His daughter, who is Malik's sister, in the 2005 Al Qaeda Amman hotel bombings in Jordan.
Oh, that's terrible.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis has recounted how the first person she saw when she came back to the set for filming the 2018 movie was Malik, who she remembered as a 7-year-old child visiting the set during the production of the original film. So she hadn't seen him in many years, and she added that seeing Malik for the first time since his father's death she was immediately brought to tears.
Aw.
Oh,
Which is also, we call it Mustafa's the reason why we have like 14 Halloween movies. He said he would never let the character die.
Mm.
Now here's a weird story that happened. Now, so David Gordon Green's the director of this movie. He is, how to explain this? He enlisted Jake Gyllenhaal's help to convince Jamie Lee Curtis to reprise her role as Laurie Strode for the film by hunting her and her husband down in the mountains of somewhere. I think it was like Peru or something. Basically, she was on vacation, and Jake Gyllenhaal had to go like trek out into like the mountains to go find her to help her to like convince her to take the role of Laurie Strode again. Now you're probably wondering
Why?
why Jake Gyllenhaal?
Yeah.
Jake Gyllenhaal is a family friend of Jamie and has been dubbed by her as her unofficial godson.
Oh, I had no idea.
did not know that.
Yeah, so apparently they're very close.
That makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah, so that's kind of weird. Now, I found out this little in one of the interviews for this movie, she was explaining how she got Jamie Lee Curtis was explaining how she got into acting, which she said she kind of just fell into the role, and one of her first roles was Laurie Strode. So she said she kind of just fell into it because prior to becoming an actress, she wanted to be a police officer.
Really?
Yeah. So
I honestly could see it. Like specifically Jamie Lee Curtis with the short hair. I could see that. I could see that being a cop.
So there's another
I'd
universe
let her
out there.
pull me over.
Okay, all
You
right.
know what I'm
Hey,
saying?
yo.
Oh my
You know what I'm saying? Okay, I'll stop.
For now.
Now, I think so. There's a thing that you know who. Okay, so does anybody know who Danny McBride is?
Yes.
Sounds very familiar.
All right, if you don't know who Danny McBride is, he is he's a comedian. I think he shows up in like Pineapple Express, This Is the End, Hot Rod, those kind of movies, like the really weird comedy movies. And then randomly he'll pop up in like really serious roles.
Yeah.
Like he's the husband in Alien Covenant.
Okay, yeah, I just looked him up.
So he usually is like hanging. He usually is in like comedy movies with like Seth Rogen and stuff like that. So now he is the co-writer for this movie.
Okay.
Now, if you don't know, if you know who Danny McBride is, you're kind of you would definitely be surprised of like, what the hell? How the hell did he end up co-writing this movie? Because he's more of like a comedic star, so you're kind of like, oh, that's kind of weird. Also, if you don't know, he's also like one of the co-producers and writers for the Underworld series.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's very well versed in like the horror side of Hollywood and stuff like that, which I was very surprised to find out.
Like Snoop Dogg. He's just like doing everything and no one knows about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's in there, and he's one of the co-writers and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. Now one of my we'll get into it later, but one of my favorite parts of this movie is the Shape Hunts Allison soundtrack for when obviously Michael Myers is chasing Allison, the daughter, through Haddonfield. I don't know why I keep on saying Haddonfield.
Keep saying Haddonfield.
So Haddonfield, there's a that riff of it's just it's like the sound, it's just a soundtrack, then suddenly hear like it's just that.
Yeah.
It is
Sorry,
my
I didn't
favorite.
quite catch that. Can you do that one more time?
I'm not doing that again. Now to make that is Daniel Davies played a violin bow over an electric guitar.
That's cool.
That's dope.
And so the soundtrack was created by John Carpenter, Daniel Davies, and Cody Carpenter. And Cody Carpenter is, John Carpenter's son. And Daniel Davies happens to be the godson of John Carpenter.
Is Jake Gyllenhaal also the godson by any chance?
No, that's a different family.
Sorry.
And like I said, there wasn't a lot of facts. So this is our final facts for today. Michael Myers, actor, the guy who plays him in this movie, James Jude Courtney, his acting roles are mostly killers. So he plays a lot of killers in movies.
It's a little concerning.
Yeah, so that's his thing. That's like his
Red flag.
Yeah, his typecast, I guess. So what's crazy is that he was actually he learned how to actually kill by living in a psych ward with paranoid schizophrenics who actually had happened to kill a few people.
Wait, what?
And so he was kind of just hanging out with the psych ward patients, the schizophrenics, and he was monitored obviously with doctors in his ear telling him like what the guy did, like how he did it and stuff like that. But he was just kind of like living with them for a bit.
That's a whole new fucking level of method acting.
Yeah. And then
that's very
like,
concerning.
That's a really, if there was a line and he fucking ran over it.
This guy also happened to have a roommate who was a convicted hitman.
What?
Who killed? Yeah, he killed many people, and so every time he would kill somebody on screen, and he would come, like after the guy, so his roommate would watch the movies, and he would critique his killing.
Oh my god! What?
And so so basically, his roommate would teach him how to kill better, so that he would become a better actor in killing in the movies.
That's
how
fucking,
does
what?
Okay? There's a lot of issues there, and I don't know where to start with that. So.
We're not going to
gonna move past it.
Yeah.
Just gonna move right past it.
Move right past my killer roommate.
That sounds like a fucking reality TV show.
That's the name of this episode.
My killer roommate.
My roommate is a hitman. Hold up. My roommate is a killer. I 100% that is our killer roommates. What's that? There's definitely a TV show called Killer Roommates.
There's gotta be. If not, we need to fucking coin that now.
True.
Killer roommate, that's amazing. Or I'm roommates with a killer, that's a fucking amazing title.
My roommate is a hitman.
My roommate is a hitman.
Isaiah, do you have any more facts?
No, that is all my facts for today.
Thank you for your facts, Isaiah.
Thank you. Yes, you're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for listening.
Of course, almost any time.
Almost all.
So let's talk about the movie, shall we?
It's movie time.
It's movie time. Grab your popcorn, strap on in, because this one's a doozy.
Ladies first. Go ahead.
So I think overall, I liked this one more than the last one. However, just by the tiniest little bit, like a hair more. And I think it was just because it was newer. And I hate to be a Gen Z when I say that, but I mean it like I'm just, I don't know what it is
I
about.
hate to be a Gen Z. What a fucking statement.
Yeah, I don't like old movies for the most part.
That you like Star Wars. Curious.
That was ahead of its time. Okay, that's different. So here's what I wrote. 2 stars.
She pulled up paper.
2 stars.
2 stars.
Pros. Badass Jamie Lee Curtis, can't deny it. I was rooting for Michael Myers majority of the movie to kill everyone because of how much I fucking hated everyone in this film.
Damn.
Some shots were done beautifully. For example, the shot with the woman who is like on the phone and just barely in the corner, you see Michael Myers walking into the backyard, and then she goes to the blinds and she is about to close them, and then he kills her. That was done great. That was a good shot.
Mm-hmm.
Some shots also felt like the 80s. I don't know how to explain it, but the shot that made me think of it was when he goes into the kitchen and he kills the woman off screen, and you just hear like
with the hammer.
Yeah, and you just hear like her dying, and then the chair falls over. That just felt like I was watching an 80s film. It was, I don't know how they did it, but they did it.
I think it was just meant to be an homage to the original.
Yeah, there's
Probably.
a lot of homages in this movie to the original. Like a lot of the shots are like they're like mirrored.
Yeah.
I think the kills were done very good. And I don't mean that in a psychotic sounding way, but I mean like they were just so
Are you
gruesome.
critiquing his kills?
No, they were done so well. They were so gruesome. It was like so gross. You know, it was done great.
Beth, are you a
Yeah,
Hitman?
that was one thing I was going to say.
Roomies with the killer.
The brutality in this film was on a whole different level.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Like the fucking fence stake through the kid's jaw.
Yeah.
Now for cons, I have a love-hate relationship with Blumhouse Productions, which is the production company that did this film. They have they usually tend to produce a certain type of horror movie that I just never really hits me like as scary. It just seems very cliche.
Mm-hmm.
And like, oh, we're just going to throw a bunch of jump scares at you and play some scary music and have a bunch of annoying teenagers. That's usually how most of their films are.
Yes.
So that from the get-go, I kind of had low expectations because of that.
Real quick on your Blumhouse rant, how do you feel, given that you said like they have the same kind of like feeling movies of, you know, how do you feel about the new movie that just dropped, the new trailer that just dropped for the new movie called Megan, but it's got a 3 for an E, and it's about a high-tech killer doll?
So it's Chucky, but high tech.
Yeah, I was going to say I've never heard of it, but that sounds pretty
It's
bad.
Chucky, but like, you know, yeah.
It sounds awful.
Chucky and Leprechaun were hard enough to pull off as it is. So I mean, like,
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some good Blumhouse movies, but for the most part, they spew out a lot of straight mid. Yeah.
Straight mid.
Mediocre films. Whereas I feel like A24 is just banger after fucking banger.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
that's definitely a fucking Chucky, but you know, cyberpunk reboot or something.
That is a little creepy, but that's another thing. I feel like they really try whatever time that the film comes out, they really try to fucking tie in with like the trends of that times, if that makes sense. Like right now, obviously AI and robots and shit are huge.
Trending,
so of course they're going to make a horror movie about that. Whereas like before fucking Unfriended or whatever, that Skype horror movie, like that was awful. And that's because they're like, oh shit, everyone's using this. Let's make it a horror movie because everyone is familiar with it.
Especially with technology, it's very easy to make a variety of like horror films with the concept of like what can happen with AI.
Yeah, there was just a lot of things that I think just just typical dumb horror movie mistakes that are sadly in a lot of horror movies nowadays, just where like characters make dumb decisions and whatnot. And I mean, overall scare factor was all-time low again. Never was really scared. I think the first one got me more than the second one did. So, anyways, yeah, 2 out of 5. Do better.
You better. I will agree with you that it didn't really have that scare. Neither of these really had the scare quality for me. Like, like the 1978 one had oh, this is like what my dad and like my other family members grew up on. And this is like this is where horror started, kind of. And let's see how much it's evolved. I thought if it didn't scare me so much as like the brutality kind of caught me off guard initially. And this also ties into like Michael's unexplained superhuman capabilities. Like with in the early scenes of like when he snapped that one dude's jaw and like just fucking dropped his teeth in the bathroom. Like that was that got me.
Oh yeah.
Although I will say that like when you were saying earlier you wanted everybody to die, the two people that I wanted to die from the minute not from the minute it started, but once they got into like the hospital was the reporters.
Oh yeah. I completely forgot about them. They were so irrelevant.
No, I know, but like I wanted them to die right as soon as they visited him in the yard. That's when I wanted them to die.
Is that when you messaged me and Isaiah and you're like, I'm only 15 minutes into this movie and I already am fucking pissed?
No, that might have been. I have to think.
I will say the fucking their death scenes were, those were rough.
No, those were gruesome.
I don't know what it was about the fact that it was in a public restroom, but that was like to me the most realistic.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, getting stuck on a fence post or something. It's like, yeah, okay. The odds of that happening are slim to none. But like,
right.
Public bathroom, middle of the day.
And some random like truck stop. What I was thinking of was what I think I was probably criticizing initially was the transition from when like all the patients in the yard are screaming. Michael just has his fist balled up, but doesn't respond to the reporter being like, look at me or some bullshit. I really hated how they went from that scene to the title. And I was like, I would not have done that.
Yeah.
And that was very like anticlimactic for me. And I was like, you had all this suspense built up that Michael was going to like break this dude's arm at least or something. Not even like kill him, just, and then they go and visit Laurie. And I thought they did a really good job as far as like how they made her character, like 40 years of paranoia and protection and all these other things, and like having PTSD and alcoholism and all these other things, which makes sense for someone who witnessed, two of her best friends get murdered.
And almost get murdered herself.
Exactly. So, and then we're going to point out here that in the first film, in the original film, he only kills 5 people total. That was including his sister in the beginning. And then in this film, he goes ahead and he commits 17 brutal fucking murders.
Was it really that many?
I counted, yes.
Oh my God.
17 brutal.
That's ridiculous.
Brutal kills. I think probably the worst one in my opinion, or second worst one at least, was after, when like the dad goes out to the cop car and the 2 cops are dead.
Oh yeah.
And he made one of them like the flashlight inside the fucking face.
He made a jack-o'-lantern.
Bro, that was good. I saw that and I was like, whoa, that's fucked up.
Bro, like, did he just rip the dude's face off? I can't, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or when he killed the doctor, he just crushed his head with his boot. That was good. But yeah, I mean, some things that I found interesting too was like the doctor being like obsessed with him in that sense. Like Loomis was obsessed with him in either killing him or putting him away.
Yeah.
This new doctor who came to like take over after Loomis was all like, no, I'm going to put on Michael's mask.
Yeah, that was weird.
And throw him in the car.
That I was not a fan of.
Yeah, I thought that was very interesting. But again, those scenes kind of throw back to me, like, like when he got hit by a car, when he got shot in the face, and a couple other things that happened to him throughout the thing. I'm just sitting here thinking, like, there is no explanation as to why you are able to hang all of these shots and like not die, and I don't know. What else did I have here in my notes? I thought there was some interesting stuff to the story. I think that scene with Lumpy shooting the doctor was really funny but stupid at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Where he's like, "Don't shoot!" Immediately shoots him in the fucking shoulder.
Good old Lumpy.
Good old Lumpy. And I think actually that is one thing that got to me was watching Michael go ahead and kill a kid. That was a little.
Yeah, that was surprising.
That was a little. Whoa! Did not see that coming.
And like showing it too was even more surprising to me, because usually I feel like when it comes to like murders of children or minors and stuff, they tend to not show it but just imply it.
Yeah.
Just because it's fucked up, but they did not give a shit.
Overall, for being a brutal film, I think there was more a central focus on brutality rather than actually scary. So I'm going to give this a 2.5 for a horror film.
That's fair.
Because it was more like gore porn again.
Yeah.
Kind of like Saw. But yeah, that's my opinion. And now, Isaiah.
Yes. I am the complete opposite of both of you. I actually love this movie. I gave it a 4 out of 5.
I saw on Letterboxd and I was like, no fucking way. I can't wait to hear this shit.
So, all right, I gave this movie a 4 out of 5. I like this movie. It's now you guys described it as gore porn. I don't think it's gore porn. I mean, it's definitely gory. I'll give you that. I think gore porn more like Saw and all those things where it's like
Final Destination.
Yeah, like
where it's almost outrageous.
Yeah, like, but also it's like it's gory and like realistic. So I'm like, I can't. I'm not gonna deal with that. Like every time I see a pole now, I'm gonna think about getting impaled on it, kind of thing. Where this is just outright just stupid. Like the guy, like especially the spot, like the kills are very creative. Where what do you call it? His head it's impaled on a spike on a fence. Oh my god. The guy's head is a jack-o'-lantern right now, and he put it in his lap. Like it's just so stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Or that one teenager who got stabbed through the neck.
Yeah, like it's just outrageous. Like it's just funny. I never any of the stuff that happened here. Like I was just thinking, like, wow, that's kind of. I wrote that the intro was kind of wild. I thought it was wild. I was like, oh, it's kind of. This is definitely a new take.
Mm-hmm.
You mean with like the psychiatric?
Well, I thought it was okay, but the second they said, "Oh, we're making award-winning podcasts," I was like, "Nope, these two are gonna totally die. They gotta go."
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. No, when they said that, I just kind of thought, I was like, "Wow, that's us."
They're not gonna make the end of this movie. That's for sure.
Just like us.
Yeah. So I was like, so I thought that was like, yeah, no, they're gonna die. There is a talk between Allison and her friends about what do you call it? She saw like 3 people get killed. Wow, that's like tame compared to like today's standards. And I knew like they got a lot. There was like some meta humor in it, and I was like, "Oh yeah, you know what? They're kind of right. Like that is kind of pretty tame. 3 people got stabbed and she almost got killed. That's about it compared to all the stuff that all these people deal with today."
Right.
So I just thought that they were like, yeah, that was like their hint of, yeah, we're about to up the ante. We're about to make this go insane. And so now he goes and kills 17 people.
Yeah. I started doing like a kill counter after like I think maybe the 5th person killed. I was like, I'm gonna start counting now. Because I kept referencing like, oh yeah, like 5 people died in the original film. I was like, well, how many people died in this film?
Way more, apparently.
I think that like the meta humor of them being like, yeah, we know the original was kind of tame compared to today's standards, so we're bringing up the ante. So, and then they immediately follow up that with I think a few minutes after that, then a few scenes later is the kid gets killed. So like, yeah, they definitely upped the ante. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I do think that like before he's like Michael Myers puts on the mask, I think the fact that they never show his face or they kind of like always do it really quick or like obscured in some sort of way, I thought was very creative, especially since like when he goes to kill the podcasters, you see the story that's going on in the background. You see that he shows up in the background, walks away as the guy's pumping gas, and then he's in the background like blurred out because he's out of focus. And then as the girl
he's killing some dude in the garage. Yeah,
he's punching him, and then the guy, everything's happening in the background, so he's always there. He always kind of exists. And then the one of the things that they mentioned in the first movie is that one of the eeriness of Michael Myers was the fact that like his first, like when he kills the boyfriend in the first movie, how he kind of sits there, kind of like tilts his head.
I loved that.
Yeah, like
whoa. Did you hear that motorcycle?
Yeah, I heard
Jeez.
that. Yeah.
So sorry, everyone.
So his react, I think John Carpenter's reaction was like that he liked that because it kind of looked like he's just a kid and kind of looking at a butterfly collection. but he's murdered a man.
Right.
Yeah, I really liked that scene. I thought it was done very well. It gave a whole nother creepy aspect to Michael Myers.
Yeah, so I
To
think
jump on something also that you said, Isaiah, not to cut you off, I'm sorry. The way they showed his face and everything like that, I thought it was a nice glimpse. There was one nice glimpse that was an homage to when she stabbed him with the fucking hanger.
Oh yeah,
Because you can tell his left eye is shut and scarred because of it.
She got him good with that fucking hanger, man.
right.
Yeah.
So yeah, you kind of go crazy on the body count. The weirdness that he kind of his behavior is kind of dialed up to 11 of just him like doing things. Him putting on the mask is probably like one of the best scenes in the movie, just because of the way like they upped it of just like, yeah, what do you call it? He wants his mask back. He's gonna kill these two to get his mask.
Yeah.
More meta humor is like when Laurie meets the new doctor and she goes, "Oh, you're the new Loomis," and I was like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
he is.
That was I had that written down in my cons because I was like, oh, thank you for explaining the story to me on that one, because I had no fucking clue who this guy was. And then she's like, oh, you're the new Loomis? I was like, thank you for the exposition.
I like when exposition is very clear cut and to the point where we don't need an hour to explain who he is. He is just the new Loomis.
Mm.
And then The Shape hunts Allison. My God, I love that song. I love that like part of the OST. It's so good. It's probably my favorite part. Like it's probably my favorite theme in the movie. In my last note, I put the funny random conversations that like the people are having. I don't know why. I just thought it was funny. Like it was a bit of a tonal shift. Like I did get that, but also I'm not taking this movie very seriously. I just thought it was like, yeah, we're here to watch some campy, funny weirdness go down, and what's like in this horror movie. But I did think the conversations between Lumpy and his dad of being like, oh, I want to go do dancing. Yeah, I'll go hunting with you, but like, can I go do dance? That's my passion. That conversation, and then the cops conversation, or they're just like talking about like the food that they brought, and he's like making fun of him because he made his own brownies.
Yeah, he's like, I bought you this peanut butter banh mi, and he's like, I made my own brownies, bro.
Yeah, like those little conversations, I thought they were just funny, and that's like, and then immediately goes into oh yeah, his head is a pumpkin now, kind of, I just thought that was funny. It probably is a turnoff for a few people because they're here to see the horror stuff, and like the weird comedy bits probably was to turn some people off. I thought it was just a few moments of brevity, and it was kind of interesting.
That's fair.
But yeah, no, what do you call it? I like this movie. It's definitely, I think it's better than the original because it's there. It is a very different. Obviously, it's a very big shift from the original of being like an indie movie to just being like a blockbuster. From the first one being kind of like more eerie than scary. This one isn't as scary, but it's more. There's more things happening. It's not a lot of just walking around and talking. There's actual things like each scene has a point, and a point is given, and a point makes and it gets to that, and it's not like just things didn't feel like filler or fluff.
Sure.
To me, where like the first movie, it felt like they were padding some of the runtime there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this movie's a pretty good in my opinion. I liked it, and then I give it a 4 out of 5. So we will see what happens for the next two movies.
A 4 out of 5?
4 out of 5.
Yeah. Okay. You can go fuck off. I'm just kidding. All right. Well, I guess we'll do what's next. Halloween Kills 2021.
Kills 2021.
Oh boy,
Yep.
We're getting there. Thank you everyone for listening to today's episode. You know the drill, so send us your movie suggestions, whether they're good or bad, for our next listeners episode, which is going to officially be November 7th. Email us at silverscreensips@gmail.com. You can also follow us on all of our socials at Silver Screen Sips and Twitter at Silver Screen Sip with no S. And we will see you in next week's episode where we will be reviewing Halloween Kills 2021.
Hell yeah, brother.
Also, please check out Shaker and Spoon.
Yes, please do.
Is it 10% off? What is it?
$10. A whole
$10
$10.
for a first box.
Mhm.
Oh, $10.
Even better. God damn, that motorcycle's back. What the fuck?